Hello, you guys. Welcome to my show, The Ranting Shop. I'm Melissa. Today, we're going to be talking about the gorilla hair girl. Okay, today, what I'm going to do is debunk a few of Lovelyti arguments because I don't think they were very strong in regards to condemning her to being just this liar and so on. I'm not saying that she's not a liar, but some of the points that Lovelyti used, it's so weak that it cannot be taken as a serious point, to make against the lady. So this lady came on the scene one day. I cannot even recall what day it was exactly, but I opened my Instagram and I'm seeing this woman explaining to us that her hairstyle hasn't changed in a month, and it's because she used Gorilla Glue adhesive spray as opposed to the regular got to be spray that you use to finish your hairstyle and to make it last for a long time and to stay in place. So everybody initially thought of it as a joke because it's like, this cannot be serious. This grown woman, she is a grown woman, she is like 40 years old, is making a mistake like this, putting adhesive spray on her hair willingly. Everybody thought that was mad, including me. I didn't know how to feel about it. I just felt like it was mad. But as we delve deeper and deeper into her story, we realized that something just seems very fishy. And it's no longer about her making a mistake and putting Gorilla Glue adhesive on her hair. It's become a situation where this was something she purposely did for fame. Even though she's discounted that. She said it wasn't for fame, it was just a silly mistake. However, just based on the amount of action she's taken after the fact, it makes people feel as if she did this for this outcome. For the fame, everybody knows her, right? She shot up to a couple hundred followers. Now she has 704,000 followers, and she's certified now. She has a manager and a GoFundMe account that has raised up to $20,000 as of, I just checked, as of now. She has $20,000 in a GoFundMe account. She's being flown out by this cosmetic doctor to LA so that he could perform the procedure to take out the hair, the Gorilla Glue in her hair. And this procedure is supposed to take 3 days, right? She's already flown out. I'll insert pictures here and there to let you see that she's already been flown out and she's in LA now. So we're gonna go into 3 different categories. So agree with what Lovelyti said, unsure of what Lovelyti said, and I completely disagree with what Lovelyti said. And of course, I'm going to add my own opinions throughout this discussion. So one thing I agree with is, if you've been following the story of Tessica Brown, aka Gorilla Glue Girl, you know that she went to the hospital so that they could help her to remove the glue from her hair. The doctor told her that it would take 20 hours to remove the glue from her hair. However, for some reason, she refused it and decided that she wanted to go home instead with all the supplies from the hospital so that a family member or whoever could help her take it out at her home, where she said she'd be more comfortable. Now, for me personally, and for a lot of people, they're not understanding why you'd refuse service for something that you consider to be a dire situation and go home and do it yourself. Like, if you liken it to you being like so ill and you go to the hospital and the hospital tells you, oh, this will get better in a day, and you're telling the hospital staff, well, I'd rather go at my home and be comfortable, just give me everything I need and I'll go home. And come on, that sounds ridiculous, right? So everybody is side-eyeing her like, this is a situation that is so important for you to fix, but then you're refusing the service from the hospital and choosing to go home and do it yourself. Crazy. So Lovelyti came up with the conclusion that it's because she wanted to possibly like ensure that her situation is somewhat prolonged okay, for a longer period of time. That way she could get more exposure, that way she could get more fame, that way she could get more sponsorship, that way like she could get the clout that she wanted. And for me, that could be the case, because I'm not understanding why you refuse service from the hospital and go home just because you wanted to be more comfortable when you're dealing with a situation where you might potentially lose all of your hair permanently. That sounds insane to me. And the only conclusion I could draw is that you're just trying to prolong the situation as long as possible. Because I'm not understanding. You're being offered professional help and you're turning it down. And another reason why I believe that she did not stay in the hospital, like the idea of C19 came to my head. She might be feeling as if the longer she stays at the hospital, the longer she might be exposed to C19, and that's why she decided to go home. But at the end of the day, whether there's C19 or not, if you're in a situation where you could potentially lose all of your hair and be in like serious medical danger, you don't care. Like, the hospital is where you go to fix that, and the fact that she didn't stay is just very suspicious. Another situation would be the hospital bill. It could have gone up to an amount that she wasn't able to pay, so that's the reason why she decided to go home. And I feel like, remember, after that situation, she got another person offering to help her, a doctor from LA, and he's a cosmetic doctor, and he said that he'd be able to get out all the gunk from her hair in 3 days or 2 days. So we're moving from 20 hours at the hospital to 3 days in LA with this cosmetic surgeon. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. Why wouldn't you want the procedure that takes less time? And my conclusion here is that it's all about the money. If she were to stay at that hospital and get the procedure done there, the amount she'd have to pay the hospital fee from her pocket. It would have to come from her funds, which she may or may not have. Now, I'm not sure when she set up the GoFundMe, but maybe at that moment she didn't feel as if she was able to like come up with the hospital fee for the hospital. But when this plastic surgeon said that, hey, we could do this for you in 3 days, she hurried to do that one because it was free. If it was offered to her for free, she didn't have to pay any money, and I don't even think she paid the flight there to LA. It was all sponsored by the doctor. So in that regards, I feel like that's essentially why she took the other route as opposed to taking the hospital route. Okay, now the other situation is, before I even talk about this, one important thing that Lovelyti said that I don't agree with, and two things. Well, a couple of things she said that I don't agree with, and I feel like it's not good arguments. Like, one thing about debating is that your arguments have to be very strong, and sometimes there are weak arguments in there, but you need to tie to a stronger argument. Okay, and for me, it's like some things, those strong arguments, like why not do the hospital procedure, and instead, why go to a doctor that's planning to do the procedure in 3 days? Like 20 hours versus 3 days, it's suspicious. I agree with that. And something I don't agree with is she said that the Gorilla Glue girl was playing up this caricature of this dumb black person. Now, if you know American history, we have been likened to gorillas for as long as I could remember. We've been likened to monkeys. It's actually been used as a derogatory term to call a black person a monkey. So they're saying that the fact that the media uses the image of the Gorilla Glue girl next to the gorilla spray with the gorilla on it makes her look like the gorilla, right? And the whole point of what Lovelyti is saying is that the media representation of the situation makes it seem like we're dumb, we're like gorillas, and it's just not making black people look positively. And she mentioned that, there's people outside of America that depend, not, I wouldn't say depend, but a lot of what America portrays black people as, the rest of the world follows that narrative, especially when you live in an Asian country, which is very true. Whatever they saw on TV about a black person is how they assume black people are in general. So it's very important as far as black representation on the media. in the media realm is concerned. So she had an issue with that. And I do agree with the fact that it did look weird putting her face next to the Gorilla Glue. But another argument could just be that that's how, like, it gets people to pay attention more, because that's the spray that she used on her hair, and then the other picture is showing you her hairstyle. It could just be as simple as that. Like, for me personally, I don't believe that everything is a conspiracy. I don't believe that everything is planned out in a way for this great big thing to proceed, or this great big thing to happen. Sometimes I feel like it's just what it is. But Lovelyti is somewhat of a conspiracy theorist, so she digs deeper into surface level things and to potentially see maybe a bigger picture. And that could be true. I'm not saying it can't be, but I'm just saying, for me personally, I don't like to go too much into conspiracy theories, because they just drag you down into this big hole, right? That kind of makes you crazy, because you start thinking everything is something else, and everything is something else because it's for something bigger to happen, and this bigger thing that's going to happen will potentially affect us all and would affect us negatively in the long run. That could be the case. But for me, and for a lot of people's well-being, they stay away from conspiracy theories. So I'm not sure if she was playing up this caricature of this dumb black person doing this dumb thing and looking like this monkey and so on. I'm not sure. That could be the media poking fun at black people. It could very well be. Remember, but I'm not an American. So an American's point of view would very well be different from my point of view, considering I'm not an American. I'm not a black American. So another thing is that Lovelyti was saying that the girl didn't have this particular style a month ago. If you saw the initial video of her explaining why her hairstyle is the same for a month, she says that it's been a month. And then Lovelyti decided that it hadn't been a month, because she scrolled through her page and she saw that a month ago she had a different style. Well, my rebuttal to that is that at the end of the day, you cannot decide how long somebody's had a hairstyle by going through Instagram and looking at a month ago and what their hair looked like a month ago. That is not a solid determination of whether it's been a month or not. Why? Simply because people post pictures of themselves from years ago. Like, I could post a picture of myself that I took a year ago today. Does that mean that I had that style today? No. I could post a picture of me that I took yesterday or a week ago. I could post it tomorrow. Does that mean that that hairstyle that I had on and those clothes that I was wearing and the place that I was, does it mean that I went there tomorrow? Or does it mean that I went there yesterday? No, you simply cannot tell. So for me, that argument was very, very weak, because it's like, you can't tell whether somebody has had a hairstyle for a month simply by scrolling through their social media. It's just simply impossible. People post pictures to mislead people sometimes. They want people to think they travel all the time. So let's say they went on this excursion, a week excursion, they went to different countries. Sometimes they may want people to think that they travel all the time. So they may post a picture like every month they may post a different picture. That doesn't mean that the person went to these countries every month, or that person went to one country every month. It could just mean that they chose to lay it out like that. Remember, Instagram is an app that people use to give positive impressions of themselves, whether it be that they're a world traveler. Okay, if that's the case, they might either pose in front of green screens that look like Paris, or green screens that look like France, or, well, Paris and France is the same place. The point is, they may use green screens to make it seem like they're traveling the world almost every week, when in fact they're in their apartment in Los Angeles the whole time. So you simply cannot take people's Instagram as proof for anything, especially when it has to do with a specific timeline. To me, that was a terrible argument. because Instagram is a place you post what you want people to think about you. If you want people to think you're this beauty influencer, you're gonna post yourself with makeup of different styles all the time. If you want people to think that you have this expensive life, you're gonna post pictures of being in lavish hotels or in expensive places eating expensive food. If you want people to think that you're this intellectual, you're gonna post yourself reading books, you're gonna post yourself quoting intellectuals. That's just what it is. Like, it's based on what you want people to think of you. So it's a very dicey situation to use it as proof of anything, okay, because in actuality it's not necessarily true what you see on there. So anyways, another thing Lovelyti said that I don't agree with is the fact that she's lying because she simply cannot use Gorilla Glue to make the hairstyle that she made. But my argument to that is, yes, because Lovelyti did say you cannot just get that hairstyle. I agree. I'm a black girl. I have black hair. I do styles like this sometimes. You cannot just use Gorilla Glue and for it to be able to move and do the swoop here and the swoop there, and it would be too tacky to do that. Of course. That's not how I think she used it though. So one thing about arguments and telling people your perspective is that you have to be reasonable sometimes. You cannot just, it cannot be that your sole goal is to discount or to bring forth this argument, but then you're using weak arguments to bring forth your final argument. I mean, your final argument may still be a strong one and people would still gravitate to what you say and believe what you say to be true, but for someone that's very analytical and reads through everything and sees everything and understands everything, some arguments are so weak, it's like, why even bring that up? Because that kind of weakens your whole argument. So she says that basically what she's trying to say is she didn't use Gorilla Glue in her hair. That's not what she originally used. She used another gel in her hair that was a very thick gel and it would be hard to move. That's what Miss Lovelyti said. However, from my perspective, I will say that she probably did start off molding and like flattening, making her hair as like neat and as flat as possible with gel. I'm pretty sure that's what she did. She used gel to flatten her hair and make it as smooth as possible and to do the baby hairs and everything here. I agree, that's what she used. However, the way she used the Gorilla Glue and even got to be sprayed, the way you use it is not necessarily to do baby hairs and to manipulate the hair. You use it to keep the hair in place. So after she does all the things with the gel to keep her hair in place for longer, right, she will spray the Gorilla Glue on her hair, right? And that's what I think she did. She sprayed the Gorilla Glue on her hair after she styled her hair to keep her hair in place. I don't find that suspicious. Well, the Gorilla Glue, yes, but she was using it in place of got-to-be glue, and that's essentially what you use got-to-be glue for. After you do your hairstyle, you spray the got-to-be on to keep your hairstyle in place, to make it not move and shift throughout the day. So that's how she used that Gorilla Glue. Okay? So I'm saying, of course you don't manipulate the hair with the Gorilla Glue. Of course, that's common sense. But she didn't manipulate her hair with the glue. When I say manipulate, I mean move the strands around and comb it through and she didn't do that with the Gorilla Glue. She used the Gorilla Glue as something that could stabilize the hairstyle. And after the fact, she probably tied it up or who knows what she did or ran out the door. But the point of the matter is it was used to secure the hair, not to manipulate the hair. So for that, I disagree with Lovelyti. Of course, she used it as a spray. Of course, she used it after the fact because she wanted the hair to stay. Nobody's discounting that. But for you to say that, of course, she did. She could not be able to use it to of course not. So for that point, I don't see the point. For that particular point or argument, I don't see the point. Nobody is saying that she used it in her hair. What she did with it was she sprayed it on top of her hair to secure her hairstyle. That's what she did. So Lovelyti was saying that, she used it after the fact when she realized that everything was gaining traction. That's something that's difficult to prove. I can't say that she put the Gorilla Glue after she realized that the situation was becoming viral. I cannot say that. I feel like she genuinely put the thing in, She was dumb about reading the instructions, dumb about what she was putting in her hair. And she did it thinking it would do the same thing that the got to be glue does. She just didn't realize that what she was doing was going to cause her a lot of issues. You know, I don't think that the Gorilla Hair Girl is completely 100% malicious. I don't think that her intent initially was fame. But however, later on, when she realized that this is ridiculous, let me try and get whatever, some fame off of it. Maybe later on, she put two and two together and said, let me just make money off this. But initially, I don't think that was the case. And it was something that she did that was dumb, but initially it was simply that, a dumb thing that she did. Now, Lovelyti is saying that she keeps covering her face every time we're seeing videos of her like removing the thing because she's embarrassed, or she's just laughing at dumb people that keep donating to her GoFundMe. I don't know. That's something I cannot prove. I cannot disprove. Well, I can kind of have an opinion of it. I don't feel like she was laughing per se. But this particular point, I feel like Lovelyti was just like trolling a bit. The things I'm not sure about as far as what Lovelyti said, I already gave you some things. But one thing was I don't think she used the Gorilla Glue later on. I feel like she did it when she did the style. I don't know if she continued to use it after the fact. That I cannot prove, so I can't tell you. I don't know if it was a one-time use or she used it several times. I can't tell you that. Okay? She's also saying that her sister is potentially involved. That could be the case. That could be the case. That's also something I cannot prove. However, when I looked at her GoFundMe, I saw that there were two names. Her name, Tessica Brand, and a Juanita Brand. And I'm assuming the Juanita Brand woman is her sister. However, I still can't say that her sister was in on it. I really don't know. Like, it just is very... I know people do crazy things for exposure. However, it's hard for me to believe that this teacher... And we hold teachers to such a high regard intellectually and morally. It's just very difficult for me to come to the conclusion that she would do something like that simply for fame. I don't know about that. I feel like initially it was an honest mistake on her part, but later on it did become about that. But I don't think she did it solely for fame. It gradually became about that when she realized how much attention she was getting. That I agree with. Okay, and I also believe that she prolonged things because she wanted like more fame from it, more attention from it, and that she got. I was like indifferent about the entire situation, and it kind of even made me feel like, why would she do such a dumb thing? But I wasn't like too caught up in it, like in terms of emotionally. However, what really made me mad about the situation was when I saw that this woman, I don't know if she is actively pursuing a lawsuit or if she's thinking about filing a lawsuit, but when I heard that and saw that, that made me so mad. It made me so angry because that is your mistake. You chose to take Gorilla Glue adhesive, which is for household items, to stick them up, to put them together. This is not for human skin. It's not for human eyes. It's not for hair. Although it didn't outright say, don't put this on your hair, I feel like some things doesn't have to be spelled out to people to know that it's common sense to not put it on your hair. She chose to do that. That was her mistake. For her to be suing the company for her mistake, I feel like that's too far. That's too far for me. From that point of view, I start looking at it in a completely disgusted way. I'm like, how could you do that? The company is innocent. People have been using the Gorilla Glue for years and years with no issues on their household items, because that's what it's used for. If she took time to read the instructions, she would see that, first of all, this is for household items. They never in that on that spray can say you could spray that on your hair. You're the one that made the decision to do that. You were probably desperate. You had somewhere to go. You needed something to keep your hairstyle in place, and you just made this dumb decision. It has nothing to do with the company. I don't know if it's her lawyer or some lawyer is saying that, oh, well, it's the company's fault because they failed to mention that it wasn't for hair. What? Do they have to literally spell things out for people these days? Common sense would tell you not to put that in your hair. I hope she's not suing the company. I'm so angry about that. Don't, please. And people, commenters are telling her sue the company, or the company's a bad company. How is the company a bad company? What did they do that's so bad? All the company did was create a product for you to mend things together like ceramic, wood, around your house. They never said that, oh, you could put this on your hair. She's the one that decided to do that on her own. Why is the company liable for her stupid mistake? The company even they had a press release stating that they were sorry for her plight and hope that she gets better or gets through the situation. But it has nothing to do with them, and they didn't have to put out any press release. And for the people saying that the company is bad, I'm not understanding the delusion of it all. How is the company bad? Some people, like, social media is full of dummies. Like, you see dummies, the social media platform is polluted with just pure idiots, and navigating it sometimes mentally and spiritually exhausting. Another thing Lovelyti said that I agree with is this woman knows how to use glue. She's been using glue for her bedazzled wine glasses that she had and was selling. For you to be able to bedazzle a wine glass, you need to know what glue you need to use. So that's the thing. She knew what the glue would do. And I saw an article on TMZ that said that she used the Gorilla Glue because it said multi-use. Are you serious? Are you serious? So you used the Gorilla Glue because it said multi-use. Okay, so that means I could use it on my hair. That's a poor argument. You were just dumb at the end of the day. You were just stupid and did a stupid thing. I don't know why you did it, but that particular part Lovelyti mentioned makes me so suspicious of this woman. I feel like she's definitely, now that all celebrities are like posting her stuff on their page, she is loving the attention as anybody would. As anybody in that situation would. She's loving the attention. She's loving the celebrity. Now celebrities know her, whether they're laughing at her or not. She's on Wendy Williams. They're loving this. The family's loving it. They're loving the fame. So, it's definitely a disgusting situation right now. It's turning into something very nasty and very immoral and very conniving, and I hate it. I hate it. Very calculating, and I hate it. I know that it's difficult now in these types of times, but these are the measures you're gonna take to get money, to become wealthy, to become famous. These are the roads that you're choosing to take. I just feel like it's just so difficult for me to believe that, but now I'm not to believe it, but for me to come to the conclusion that a rational human being could do something like that. But the more and more this story develops, the more and more I'm starting to believe that that's what it is. And this is not a representation of all Black women. There was this Essence article stating that, oh, we should protect this woman. Protect her from what? Protect her from what? Oh, we shouldn't make fun of her. We shouldn't call her stupid. But that's what she is. Tell me if a highly intelligent individual would put Gorilla Glue on their hair. No. The answer is no. She is stupid. She is dumb. And Black women should not protect nothing. Protect her from what? Her own stupidity? How are you doing that? How are we doing that? How are we protecting somebody against their own stupidity? That's not gonna happen. And in the Black community, I feel like what we do is we hold people accountable sometimes. You do a dumb thing, we're gonna call you stupid all day. That's just what it is. You should not have done it. Point blank. Period. You should not have done it. So for people to say, oh, protect her, she just gave in to American beauty standards or European beauty standards of hair, and she felt the pressure to keep her hair a certain way, and that's why she took these extreme lengths. At the end of the day, it's all about you. It's all about you and what you choose to do with yourself. I'm tired of grown people blaming society for their decisions. Nobody is making you put glue on the perimeter of your hair and put weave every day and putting wigs every day. Nobody is forcing you to do that. You've made the decision to do that yourself. Nobody is forcing anyone to use Gorilla Glue spray on their hair to maintain any type of hairstyle. Society is not forcing you to do that. Don't put black women in this, because I'm not putting Gorilla Glue on my scalp thinking, oh, I need to fit into these European beauty standards for hair. I'm not doing that stuff. Millions of black women are not doing that stuff. People choose to do that. We always have choices, right? We always have choices. And for this Essence article to state as if we're a victim to these beauty standards, I just don't agree with that at all. And a lot of black women don't agree with that. At the end of the day, you take accountability for your actions and stop blaming black women or stop blaming society. You allow society to influence you to a point where you do dumb things. Don't blame society for that. Blame yourself. I feel like a lot of the time, especially nowadays, we take less and less accountability for our actions. It's always about an external party. They did this to us. We didn't do it to ourselves. Come on. At the end of the day, nobody forced this woman to put Gorilla Glue adhesive in her hair. She was the one that did it because she was dumb, and she made a dumb decision. Stop putting society into people's dumb decisions. Stop blaming other people for other people's decisions. Time to hold people accountable. You guys are holding these sex offenders accountable for their disgusting behaviors. Time to hold dumb people accountable for their dumb behavior. Stop it about society. Stop it about generalizing things and making it a black woman issue. This woman made that decision on her own for whatever reason. Now it's turning out to be a situation where she's trying to be famous. Her family members are telling her, oh, now you can put on your dance group. You could make them famous. You could give them the fame and the visibility that you've always wanted to give them. Really? That's what you're responding to this very unfortunate but could be medically serious situation? That's what you're responding to? Anyways, and for a long time, you'll notice that she had this ponytail on her head for the longest time. My thing is, that ponytail could have been cut off a long time ago. Why has it been kept on for so long? Why? They said they only recently took out the ponytail. Why has it taken so long to remove the ponytail? I'm not understanding. And I feel like another reason is going back to the fact that she wants to prolong this thing and make this thing, like, keep it long enough so more people could see her and more people could know her situation, just to increase her popularity. I feel like that's what it is, because it's very easy to cut off the ponytail. I mean, your hair is not that long, you know. The ponytail is an extension. It had nothing to do. She didn't glue that. She didn't add Gorilla Glue to that part. So why is it so hard to remove it? And the conclusion I came up with was that it could be that she wanted to save the ponytail. But in the bigger scheme of things, who cares about the ponytail and saving the ponytail? Like, take it out, just cut it out. That way, it's easier for people to focus on your actual hair. Anyways, they took it out recently. The headline is that Chief was finally able to cut out the extension hair. She could have always cut out the extension hair. From the very beginning, from the time she came on Instagram and told us that she made this dumb mistake, she could have taken out her ponytail from there. She could have taken out that ponytail when she realized that the hairstyle wasn't coming out. Then she could have taken it out. But for some reason, she left it on. It could have been because she still wanted to look cute and she still wanted it to look normal, so she kept it on. It just is very fishy that you kept this ponytail on for so long. And I can't be sure of why she did that. I cannot. I don't know. Okay? One thing I understand that people are like sending money to her for her medical expenses, but she clearly doesn't need the money at this point. She's getting flown out. Has been flown out. She's probably in LA now getting the procedure done. She doesn't need the money. So people are still donating. That's on them. As I said, she's raised $20,000 now, or very close to $20,000. We're gonna see how this story unfolds about this Gorilla Glue girl. At this point, it's definitely a situation where she's taking advantage of all the fame and all the notoriety and all the popularity that she's garnered from this unfortunate situation. And if it were you, you'd probably do the same. So let's cut that. Let's not act like we wouldn't do the same if we were in a similar situation. But at the end of the day, a lot of people would not put that in their hair. Like, if it's for fame, a lot of people do dumb stuff for fame. It could have been a situation she did with the goal of being famous and popular. That is a possibility. That is a very strong possibility. Or it could have been, it could just be an unfortunate situation that just happened to go viral. People are sick of the story already. They're like, whatever, I'm sick of that. She's gotten all this fame and popularity from it. Like, whatever, you did what you wanted to do, you got what you wanted to get, and that's that. And some people are like still following her, wanting to know what is gonna happen to her hair and so on. Hello, you guys. There's one more thing that I forgot to mention, and it's that Miss Jessica Brown sends TMZ exclusive footage of her trying to get the glue out of her hair. Now, I don't know what this could be taken as, but it's very fishy. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody wants to know what's going on with your hair, because at this point, everyone is invested because you posted it on social media. Okay, it's gone viral for a reason. People are interested in your story. Why are you only sending progress reports, so to speak, to TMZ? Isn't that fishy to you guys? So at this point, I'm convinced. At this particular point, it's all about the fame and exposure, which is very sad. Very, very sad indeed. Anyways, I'm out. Happy Year of the Ox. Anyways, let me know what you think about Gorilla Glue Hair Woman. And do you think that she did this for fame? Do you think that this was an unfortunate accident that became popular, and thus because it became popular, she was like, okay, well then why not get the benefits or perks of fame from this? Or do you just believe that she's dumb? Did she foresee this happening? I doubt. Somebody that's gonna put Gorilla Glue in their hair, I don't feel like they foresee things like that happening. That's why for me, it's difficult to give her so much credit. I know she's not dumb, but sometimes I don't feel like she's that smart either. So it's impossible to be able to predict what would happen after you do a dumb thing like that. But anyways, let me know what you think. Comment below, and see you next time on the Ranting Show.